How's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Ron, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Leaf Green. In our last episode, we made our way through Viridian Forest and arrived at Pewter City. So, of course, in today's episode, we will be going ahead and tackling on the first gym leader here. And it's a familiar face we all know and love, especially for those who have watched the anime, like I have, and I'm fall in love with so much. It is Brock, the Pewter City gym leader, a rock-type user, and of course, it is going to be a very great battle indeed. But of course, like any other gym leader and any other gym challenge we take, there are always going to be trainers along the way. And in this case, there's only one. There really isn't any preparations we really need to do. Hey, stop right there, kid. You're 10,000 light years from facing Brock. I think I'm about 2 steps. I know, I'm bad. I'm very bad at jokes. So Liam wants to battle us before we can even get to Brock. And what I was about to say before this kid rudely interrupted me is there really is no preparations we need to make, since Bulbasaur is going to be obviously the preferred matchup against pretty much both trainers here. Leveling isn't going to be that necessary for us. We can super effectively hit everyone here and it's not going to be a problem at all. Even if the level difference was a bit more significant than this, if we're equal, it's not going to be that bad. I will say gym leaders, even though it will be a bit easier now just because we have a good starter, it will start off a bit in our favor for now, but I would say about a couple gyms later, that's when we'll start to see that level gap be a bit more significant. And that's when training my Pokemon and just training in general are going to be extremely useful for us. But luckily, Soar can at least have some good special. That's the one thing that rock types can suffer from, is their special stats are pretty bad, and they're pretty much weak to special hits. But already very close to Brock now, we already just defeated the one trainer really easy. Pikachu honestly will not be used too much today, well at least for the battle. He doesn't know any moves that can really hurt Brock's Pokemon, so there's no point in having him, or her in this case, since Pikachu is a female in my case. It's going to be all up to Bulbasaur, and full health, not really damaged, we're not phased, let's take on Brock. So, you're here, I'm Brock, I'm Pewter's gym leader. My rock hard willpower is evident even in my Pokemon. My Pokemon are all rock hard and have true grit determination. That's right, my Pokemon are all rock type. You're gonna challenge me knowing that you'll lose? That's the trainer's honor that compels you to challenge me. Fine then, show me your best. And just before their final line, the music does kind of remix a little bit. It's kind of like the Trainers Encounter remix a little bit, but this is going to be a great battle. Let's go, guys. First gym leader on the line. So Leader Brock would like to battle. Right then. And just like Liam, he has a Geodude, just slightly more powerful. And I believe he also has Rock too, so that's going to be... Look at that, come on, guys. Honestly, the fact that we have Soar, even if we had Squirtle, this would have been easy. Charmander would have been a little bit more difficult, but I can explain that a little bit later. And then his last is Onix, his staple Pokemon. Of course, that's his staple we've seen throughout the anime series for the longest. Level 14 though, so a little bit higher than us, but honestly, bruh, I'm so terrible. That's it, come on, really easy. It's just simple. This has been a very short battle. It's like barely even a minute in, and this battle was like done in like 2 seconds. Level ups, I appreciate that. But that's it. Leader Brock has been defeated. I took you for granted, and so I lost. As proof of your victory, I conferred onto you this, the official Pokemon League Boulder Badge. And we received it. Just having the Boulder Badge makes your Pokemon more powerful. It also enables the use of Flash outside of battle. Of course, the Pokemon must know the move Flash to use it. Obviously, right? I mean, no, we didn't know that at all. Then wait, take this with you. We also get a TM for our spoils. A TM, a technical machine, technical machine, I can't read, contains a technique for Pokemon. Using a TM teaches the move it contains to a Pokemon. A TM is good for only one use, so when you use one, pick the Pokemon carefully. Anyways, TM39 contains Rock 2. It hurls boulders at the foe and lowers its speed. So yeah, he honestly would have used it if Onix or Geodude was fast enough to take us, but honestly that was not the case. Like I said, if you were to, like I was saying earlier, if you were to have Bulbasaur or Squirtle as your main starter, Brock is literally like just like we just saw, like a battle that takes barely a minute. Not that bad. I mean, since it's rock types, they're typically slower. Yes, they are bulky, but they're bulkier on the physical aspect. Special moves are pretty much their biggest weakness, so it's pretty easy to take them out. If you had Charmander, the benefit the 3rd gen did that the 1st gen didn't was that Charmander can learn Metal Claw upon leveling up to like 13, I believe. It's one of those levels, 13 or 14. And of course, Steel type moves are super effective against Rock types. Although it is considered a physical move, so their defenses can play a big role in that. But it is still easier to take on. Unlike in the 1st gen, since Steel types weren't even a thing yet, Charmander, you kind of had to just either level up, or you had to do the smart thing and pretty much raise a Pokemon outside the wild. There was Mankey that you were able to capture, I believe, the route before Viridian Forest, and then of course it can learn fighting type moves, which obviously are going to be super effective against rock types. Or I believe if you grabbed a Nidoran male, I don't remember if you can catch it that early, but that was one way to counteract Brock. That was the one thing, if you weren't too familiar about type advantages in the 1st gen, especially for those who were probably playing it at a young age when it first came out, if you were into Pokemon growing up like I was, I didn't know that, so that's why it certainly took me a long time to realize that, and especially since I played Pokemon Yellow, I didn't know Pikachu couldn't do anything against rock types and ground types. Like, I watched the anime too, and I saw that episode, but I didn't connect those pieces together, and I ended up taking like so many years later to realize what I was supposed to do. So that's what happens when you actually know things. You can actually accomplish a lot more. But now that we've beaten Rock, we can actually access the road to our right. That should be Route 3. But even before we can, we are stopped. Oh, wrong board. I'm glad I caught up to you. I'm Professor Oak's aide. I've been asked to deliver this, so here you go. And we finally get the running shoes. About time. So we go ahead and put on those bad boys. So press the B button to run, but only when there's room to run. Well, I must be going back to the lab. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, and there's a letter attached. Dear Romboy, here's a pair of running shoes for my beloved challenger. Remember, I'll always cheer for you. Don't ever give up. From Mother. Thank you, Mom. I'll do this in your honor, even though you're not dead. Alright, I still, after Bulbasaur leveling up a lot of levels those few battles, I'll let Pikachu take some of the hits for now. Now that we can actually run, we're not limited to just walking everywhere, we can actually run. That's actually something I'm glad we can get now, because oh my god, walking just took too long. We might have to come back to Pewter City just later. There's not much you can really do now, or there really isn't even much to do now, so we'll go ahead and just start heading out, because right over here on Route 3, there are going to be some trainer battles to entertain ourselves with. Pretty much the whole point of Route 3, all the way till we get to the Mountain Moon Cave, it's just going to be trainer battles to help, of course, level up your Pokemon. You might see a couple new faces here and there, but I will already go ahead and say this. There are no new Pokemon here for me to capture that I would like on my team. Not that they're bad, just don't want them on my team. That is not to say that a lot of the Pokemon here are bad, it's just... honestly, a lot of the Pokemon in the later parts of the game, honestly, when you get towards like Gym 4 and later, that's when you start to see them. So that's going to be part of the reason why you'll pretty much see the same teammates for, honestly, a couple more episodes in. So I will be honest, it's really just going to be Bulbasaur and Pikachu for quite a while, as boring as it may be, just to see them two. But I will be honest, once we start heading after, I believe, Gym 4, that's when we'll start to see a lot more of the team members being added, pretty much in successive captures. It's just because, since it's still Gen 1, the Pokedex, you're still limited to the first 150, even though the other generation's already been out. I do want to run quick attack. I'll get rid of Growl. I'd rather have Tailwind, just in case I ever need it. But yeah. You are still limited to the 150, even though the other two, and the second and third gen have technically been out, so you technically can't have them too. It's just since you're limited to the national dex, I think it's the national, no. The national dex is after. The regional Pokedex, I think it's regional. The regional dex, you're only limited to the first 150. So in terms of like getting a team you want, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, unless you start training over Pokemon, then it can happen. But other than that, yeah, you're stuck to basically what you would be able to capture back in the original handheld release, or the original handheld releases, I would say. Honestly, I'm just gonna try to get through these battles as relatively quick as I can. A good goal I do want to get to is to head over to Mountain, at least get to the doorsteps of Mount Moon, There's not too many trainers here, and even so, the select few that are here, their Pokemon aren't terribly high level against us, and Pikachu is going to be a good counter for a lot of them just because Pikachu is a great special attacker, so I'm not too concerned. Alright, I just don't want to get poisoned, that's just going to waste time. I will say the only notable captures here are going to be, I think, Jigglypuff, and I think one of the Nidoran Pokemon. Jigglypuff isn't exactly a special type of Pokemon. It is a normal type, so of course it can learn a variety of moves. In the 3rd gen, it isn't necessarily powerful either. Its only great stat, I believe, is its HP stat, so it can have high amounts of HP, but only certain Pokemon actually take great advantage of that, while others just have it. If you have high HP, then that's great. You can tank some hits a little bit more, but that's more on the defensive end than necessarily just hit points alone. But you know, it's totally up to you if you want to have a cute little Pokeball type Pokemon on your team. I want to ignore this guy. Oh, nah, actually, no, I don't want that. I like shorts. They're delightfully comfy and easy to wear. Yeah, see, that's the kid. That's the kid that's always into shorts. Youngster Ben. I don't remember if his name was spread across the other games, but I remember, I think in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, they mentioned something about shorts. The original and the remake also mentioned shorts, and I think one of the other DS releases I think did too. I don't remember. My memory is short on those. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so now while I go ahead and let some of these battles progress, I do want to give some more story time and add some more detail as to my first encounter with this game when I played Yellow. Before I played Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Yellow was the first one I was able to receive. I was only like 4 years old at the time when I got it. And I remember, I was around 4 or 5, it was around that time. I was super young. I don't remember the exact age, it was that long ago. I remember when I was playing Pokemon Yellow, I had gotten to Pewter City, and I was going up against Brock, but I only had like a level 15 Pikachu, and I thought if I was gonna be a little bit of a higher level, I would have a better chance of battling Brock, but it turns out that didn't help. Since I only had Pikachu, I just kept losing every single time to its Geodude, and if I was lucky enough to knock it out with like Quick Attack, I would happen to just get knocked out very easily by Onix, and then I was just stuck for the longest. Now, of course, keep in mind, I was still a young, naive little kid who didn't know anything about matchups and thought higher levels meant easier wins, which to a certain degree does occur. Obviously, the higher the level of the Pokemon, your greater chances of winning. But of course, if type matchup is, of course, immunity, then it doesn't even matter anything else. It just won't work in your favor. Kind of like that example where electricity can't do anything against ground types. That was my case. And so after so many losses, I basically just quit Pokemon Yellow at that age and didn't pick it back up until like my teen years. So this is nearly a decade later when this game actually came out. I had played this game first, being Pokemon Fire Red. That was actually the first one I got. It was Fire Red, and Bulbasaur was my starter. And so I thought, okay, I don't need to worry about that. Let me just go through the game. And then that's when I decided to grind my Bulbasaur the entire time and ignore like every other Pokemon in my party. Like I even mentioned it earlier. I got all the way to the Elite Four, and my Venusaur was like what, level 80, trying to just trashing through everyone, and it worked out. But then I realized how kind of not boring, but a little uneventful it was. So then that's after I got my big brain. I decided to pick back the first gen games, but I instead of doing Yellow, I ended up getting Pokemon Blue, and just played through that, and I basically beat the first gen before the third gen, oddly enough. I know, very, very interesting. If I remember correctly, if I'm trying to remember all the Pokemon games that I've played successfully through, I think Pokemon Silver might have been the first game I completed. But I'm trying to remember. No. Okay, no. Okay. Pokemon Silver was the first game I completed, but I only completed Johto. I didn't do Kanto because I did get stuck after beating the Elite Four. It took a little bit longer for me to realize what I was supposed to do after. But I believe this happened when I was around the age of like 9 or 10, and then that's when I beat Silver. So that is the first game I successfully completed, and then Pokemon Leaf Green was the next one. And then I ended up doing that, like the other future releases, and then coming back to the older games for like nostalgic purposes. So if I were just to rate it very quickly, I ended up doing Gen 2, then 3, then 4. It was Pokemon Diamond that I did first. I still have a lot of these games, and they're still great to just go back every now and then. I did Pokemon Diamond. I then did Platinum next. Then with Gen 5, I did Pokemon White Pokemon Black, and then I did Pokemon White 2 very recently. I believe starting after Gen 6, so that's X and Y. I did do X and Y, but then from Sun, I just stopped at Sun and Moon. Like, I didn't find the appeal of it too thrilling for me. I don't know if anyone else out there enjoyed Sun and Moon. I didn't even play it. Like, did not touch it. I've seen gameplay, obviously, so I do know what it's about, but I've never touched it. Like, I like the anime part of it, though. I know, kind of weird. I actually enjoyed the anime, even though it did kind of change the art style a little bit, and I think a lot of people kind of disagreed with that part, and I, to a certain extent, kind of do agree that the change did kind of cause it to not be my favorite, but it was still a great series regardless. I skipped those games though, even the Ultra version, like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but I have played Sword and Shield. I'm also partly into the anime on that as well, and so far I'm liking it. Of course, I don't want to spoil anything or even get spoiled myself, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's been good so far. In terms of just, you know, I guess story, character development, it's alright. It still doesn't beat like the first 4. Those are always down here as like the greatest that I always rewatch and just remember deeply and fondly, just like the games. And I'm sure a lot of you out there as well enjoy the Pokemon series, for those who love it so much. I'm pretty sure there's something about the games, or something about the anime, or something about like the cards, or something about like anything that just relates so deeply to you guys. And the games was it for me, along with the anime partially. Man, talking about Pokemon is just great. It takes me back. I know, sad. But we're almost there. I believe after everyone that we saw on screen, there should just be 2 more trainers after this, and then we should be reaching the end to where we need to stop at. It's just gonna be a lot of filler battles, honestly. Okay, no, I'm just gonna do tackle like what I'm doing. Fine. I may have to switch. But I do want to mention this now, because I do kind of want to give my opinion on this. I would have to say, if I were to rank, just do a quick rank. In terms of like all the games, that would be somewhat easy for me to do. I would say it would go along the lines of, if I were just to break it down through generations, just to make it a bit simpler. I would say first comes, and I'm excluding remakes, so I'm gonna exclude the remakes just to keep everything more fair to the original points. So games like this one, like Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, those, and like Alpha Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, those will not be included, since they technically, while they are supposed to mimic the original releases, they include a lot of the, of course, current releases of those times. So I do want to make it fair and just only include the originals. So if I were to rank it just based on that aspect alone, in terms of just my personal favorites and ignoring a couple other factors to not really make it too unbiased, even though this is technically my opinion, it would have to be Gen 2 is first. Gen 2 is first. Then Gen 4. Then Gen 4. Dang, there's so many gens. I think Sword and Shield is like 7. No, it's like 8. It's 8, Gen 8, that's Gen 8, or at least I think that's Gen 8, oh man, I can't remember. So I'll just say Gen 2, so Gold and Silver. Gen 4 would be Diamond and Pearl. Then next would be Black and White, that would be next. What would be next after that? I would say then Gen 1, so the original Red, Blue, and Yellow. Well, Red, Blue, kind of yellow. But then I was thinking, wasn't paying attention to Bulbasaur, I'm sorry. He's gonna be knocked out by Pikachu, so I'm not worried. Then Gen 1. Then I would say next would come Ruby Sapphire, then Sword and Shield, then X and Y, and then Sun and Moon. Only reason I kind of had to put Sun and Moon in the bottom is just because I technically haven't played it yet. So I would, just to be fair, I would technically consider it unrankable, but I would have to put it there just based on what I've seen and some of the content I was familiar with. But of course, that's just based on assumption, so I haven't played it yet. But based on the games I have played, I did rank X and Y as one of the lowest. The reason, for those who want an explanation, if you're wondering why it's so low, I do like some of the Pokemon released in that generation. Gameplay wise, I found it to be too easy. I mean, honestly, for those who have played the more recent ones like Sword and Shield, even those were considered very easy. The reason I liked it more is just because I just like the 3D aspect of bringing Sword and Shield to Switch, so that is a little bit unfair in that regards. The only reason I did like it a little bit more is just because I did like more of the Pokemon that were released in that gen, although some were a bit more uncreative than others. But I would say lengthwise it was pretty good. But still doesn't compete up with like the other original, like the first top 3 that I picked. Gen 2 just had so much content. It added Kanto and Johto. The new Pokemon that were released that gen were like amazing in my opinion. And gameplay mechanics were a bit difficult. I would say it was pretty difficult. That's kind of the reason why I put Diamond and Pearl up there. Replayability was pretty good too. Pokemon introduced in that gen, along with bringing a bunch of others into the game as well. That was something I enjoyed a lot too. And that's kind of really it. I know some of you out there are probably going to be a little bit mixed in my ratings. Although based on some other people's, good thing he missed, or she missed, good thing she missed. Based on other people's ratings in the games as well, it might be similar to mine. I wouldn't be, Jigglypuff keeps missing. Would be similar to mine, but also there are going to be some differences. And of course, I was just doing a very small grouping, rating the games based off just a couple of factors, so not really too many things that would really change the game in that respect. There are a lot of things you can rate the games based off of. I was just doing it just based off the gameplay mechanics. See you, train? Ooh, I better take a rest. That tunnel from Cerulean takes a lot out of you. Oh, yeah, he's mentioning it, because up here should be Mount Moon ahead. Alright guys, after we challenged a lot of trainers at Route 3, we've made it to Route 4. But right here, the more important part is this cave will lead us to Mount Moon. So of course, that'll be an exploration time we'll do next time. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed. So to recap, we defeated Brock, got our first gym badge, he gave us Rock Tomb. We kind of went over my likes and kind of ratings over Pokemon. And next, of course, got a lot of trainers that got our level ups there. But of course, next time guys, we'll be heading into Mount Moon. So go ahead and start heading over to the next place, which will be Cerulean City. So guys, this has been your boy Ron. Until next time, I will see you guys back here at the main entrance outside Mount Moon, so we can go ahead our exploration there. I will see you guys then. Take care.